morning, good morning, good morning. This is Kelly Ramsey with Developing People. I am not driving, but I am sitting in my car. And that was for Latara. She's always concerned about our safety. So today is Time Management Thursday. And so today I wanted to get on with this topic. It's kind of weird. Let me see if I can hold this. Okay, so today I wanted to get on with this topic. How have you created space for an optimal impact? And if you haven't, it's time to create that space. And I put this in specifically because today I have that didn't work. So today I have created some space in my calendar by blocking off today. I put an X through it. And the purpose of that was because I need to get some writing done, and some writing for a paper that is way past due for what I would like it to be due. There's this extreme timeline to get it done, but it's past time. So it's a training I did in January, and this is May, and I have 2 papers to create out of that training, and then I have 2 more papers to rewrite from the training I had before 2 years ago. And so it's been on my to-do list for 2 years, right? For half of it for 2 years. And I'm tired of it being on my to-do list. I want to mark it done, complete, and so I can move on to the next step and the next phase, which is offering those trainings as a complete unit and marketing that. And so I always struggle with so many things to balance in my schedule, and that's probably why I'm a pretty good time manager, and I use my planner and I use those tools to do that. But if you don't create the space for your work will never get done. And so that's what we're talking about today. So what is your optimal impact? Have you thought about what is the impact you want to make on your world, on your life, on your family, on your children? And what does that look like? And if you're coming on, good morning. This is Kelly Ramsey with Developing People. Let me know who you are, where you're from. Periscope does not show me the right accurate amount, so I never know until I get off who's been on. So welcome. And if you're a replay viewer, thank you for doing the replay. And we'd love to connect with you. So you can find us on Facebook, Kelly Ramsey, our Developing People. And our website is developpeople.org. 2 P's in the middle, develop and people. So come connect with us. And so today's topic, how do you create space for optimal impact? It's time to get it done, right? So in that work, one thing that you do is you block off time like I did. I blocked off my day for writing. And so now I got to fill my day with writing, not with other things that come up. So blocking it off and labeling it what you're going to do with that time is key. The other thing is once you block it off, you need to have all your tools ready to get that work done. And so I pulled out the folder that has all the writing and all the material. All my books are on a shelf, so I can pull the book that I need to use it as a resource to do that material. And so all I have to do is sit in my space and begin to write. Now, my space at work is a shared space. And so I know I get distracted. So if I stay in that space to work today, I have some additional tools like my headset. So my headset will go on. I'll put in my brain.fm. It's like brain music, and it helps you kind of focus. And I've used it before, and it works. So I'll probably plug that in to my ears and get to writing. Or I have another option to create a different space. I know I write better when I'm in public, like at Barnes & Noble. The noise actually helps me focus better. And so I can take my bag. It's already complete. All my items are in it. Go sit at a table and get my writing done that way. So I have 2 avenues that I want to use. So you block off the time, lock it off on your calendar. Say what you're going to do with that time is the second step. Get the tools necessary to get the work done is the third step. Now, to make it optimal, when you set up that space, you set up an opening for things to get done and things to happen. You have the tools, you're ready to do the work. Then you just got to get to it. You got to get to the work, because we can busy ourselves with Facebook, or my intention is to write today, but then I go online and I see this and it takes me on a rabbit trail to something else. And then here it is, half the day spent and I didn't get my writing done, right? And so that has been the story of a lot of people. It's been the story of me as well. And so I try and find out in my writing, in my time management, in my life management, what are my patterns and what are the goals that I'm seeking? And if I'm not meeting those goals, why is that not happening, right? So in my house, my family and my close friends know me. My house, when I first moved into my home, is a Habitat home. So I was homeless. I was staying with my friends. And this was my first home ownership experience. And I purchased the home, did the work and sweat equity to get into it. It was empty. Like nothing was in it. Like people were like, oh, do you want this? I'm like, yeah, because I have nothing. 0 things in the house. Now, fast forward 18 years, there's like no space for anything else in my house. And so I have lots of ideas and I have lots of concepts, and I'll clear a space and then it gets cluttered back because we have just outgrown our house. So our next step is to purchase a new home and go through that process. But we're not there right now. So I was asking myself, why haven't I been at my optimal output of what I want to create? And a lot of that is because there's not a space created for that work to happen. I have the pen of a ready writer in my hand, but you have to have a place that's cleared, uncluttered, so you can get there and do the work. And so when I was writing this Periscope, I thought about that. I thought about, how do I create space? Because if it takes so much effort to create the space to do the work, we don't ever get to the work, right? And so I do what we call swap bot. And so I'd swap with other quilting friends, like a quilting square, and that keeps me quilting because I want to quilt and do my quilting all the time, but I can't do that all the time. I would love to, but I have to work, right? And so that's my way of plugging in. So I make a square and then I mail it off for a quilt, and someone mails me one, and we keep doing this back and forth. And then in 6 months, we have all the squares for a quilt. So right now I have the squares for this rainbow quilt. How did I make that happen? I cleared my space, my table, because we have a shared work table, the boys' Legos, all this stuff, right? And so I cleared my space for my table. I left my sewing machine out. I prepped my work. So one night I would cut all my pieces, and then another night I would sew my pieces, and then I would iron and press them. And so they're ready to go, just waiting for a couple of things to assemble. And so when I get in that groove, I prepare the space, I do that, it gets done. But if I never put my sewing machine out on the table, it's still in the sewing bag, under the table, behind a basket of fabric, wherever, right? It will never get done. And so creating that space makes it happen. So even when your situation is not optimal, so it's not I have my vision. It's not my walk-in library with my comfy chair with a table next to it for my tea or for my iced tea or hot tea or coffee, with the floor-to-ceiling bookshelves lined with all my favorite books and authors, organized by title. That's my vision, right? That's not what I have right now. I do have bookshelves. I have lots of bookshelves. I have lots of books. I have all these things, but that optimal comfy chair is not there. That desk, that clear desktop, all straight organized, it's not there because there's not the space to create that. And so what I've learned to do is create mini spaces for what I want to accomplish that give me at least some of those things, so that I have that in place as inspiration around me, because you cannot function in spaces that don't inspire you, right? And so I have not given up on that, but I've adapted it for my life today, right now, right? So sometimes we never get to the writing, we never get to the project because we haven't adapted our lives where we live today for what we want. And I have my prophetess, my mentor, she's a great example of this. So they had a big home, right? and they moved into a smaller home. And so she's adapted her spaces in the smaller home to create what she needs to do. So she has her studio, she has her keyboard because she does music and stuff. She has it in a place. She has inspiration on her wall. She has her Post-its, her vision plan, her vision board up on her wall. And so she's adapted those things. Is it optimal? No. But is it optimal for where we are right now? Yes. And so the message is that you don't have to wait until then. Like, until then. Well, until I get the perfect place, I'm not going to write. Because the danger in that is that you will be waiting until then place, and it never comes. So you never produce. So the people who need what you have will never get it because you're waiting for the until then. And so my answer to that is say, now what? So yes, that got disrupted. Now what? So you didn't make out the plans that you had for the day. Now what? So what are you going to do? What are you going to do next? You can't stay stuck there. You can't stay with, oh, well, I just didn't have the space, or you have everything, I have nothing. That's not an excuse. Those excuses won't do. So my question to you is, now what? So now that you've listened to this Periscope, now that you've gotten some keys, now that you've heard my story, and you know me, if you've been following me, you know how I operate, and you were probably thinking, oh my God, she must just have an optimal space, and she does this and this. No, I don't. But I always have a now what. So, okay, Kelly, that didn't go how you planned. So how do you get back to your optimal impact? What are you going to do today to get there? So think of those things. And here's the last thing I'll share with you. So space, I'm really been dealing with this space piece because we have a community called We Connect Community. And you can find that on Facebook, We Connect Community, the Launchpad. And that will show you the page, and then you can ask to join, and we'll join you to the page. And so We Connect is about creating space for people to connect, to make the connection. And I put that out in the group with a tagline, and I was questioned back, what's another word for connection? And for me, that connection is the space. It's the space in between, coming from one point of a place to another point of a place. It's the space that you create, and what you do in that space helps you to reach the other side. So it's a conduit, right? That's what it is. That space is a conduit. That connection is a conduit. A conduit can have things that flow through it, right? But it can also connect things from one side to the other. And so that's what you're creating when you create space. It's a landing place, a platform for work to get done, for visions to launch. It's a set apart time, like I said. So that's what I want to offer. So here's a quote from yours truly, Kelly Ramsey. We cannot manage what we do without creating space for our work. So I want you to hold on to that. I'm going to tweet it too, so it'll go out there. We cannot manage what we do without creating space for our work. That's your thought for the day. So have an awesome day. Again, replay viewers, thank you for tuning in. And I look forward to connecting with you on tomorrow, which is Fantabulous Friday. So let's see what we have in store for our Friday. Have a great day, be productive, and create some space for your optimal impact. Bye-bye.